Good morning, grade 10. How are you today? Today we will go over some exercises in your workbook regarding the passive because I want you to focus more on passive before we move to something else. So let's do some exercises regarding the passive as well as passive with two objects. This is found in your workbook, page 66. So this is found in your workbook, page 66. Okay, first of all, here we have the rule of the passive. Let's do them together. Most of the answers are obvious for you. Number one, we use the passive. Why? Why do we use the passive? When we are interested in the action or the object than the people who did it. We are interested in the action or the doer, the action or the object more than the doer of the action. Either we don't know who did the action, you don't know who is the doer of the action, or when it is so clear or obvious or understood who did the action. Now, how do we form the passive rule? You have to have the subject. طبعا here you are talking about the object in the active sentence. ففي الباسف بيصير السبجكت object plus be plus past participle verb 3 and by and then the agent or the subject of the first active sentence, and it's optional, you can add it or not. هلا أعطانا هنا examples وهون he gives us the time of the sentence. Here when the time is present simple, you should have the subject or the object, earthquakes, is or are, and then verb 3 past participle measured. Earthquakes are measured. Present perfect. Present perfect. What is the rule of present perfect? Object has or have plus been plus verb 3. Survivors of this week's earthquake, survivors, those who still alive after disaster, have been given tents and food by volunteers. So have been or verb 3 given. Present continuous, what is the rule of present continuous? Object plus is or are plus being and then verb 3. So the volcano is being observed for future activity today. Past simple was or were, object was were, verb 3. The landslide was caused by last week's torrential rain. The landslide was caused by last week's torrential rain. Well, what is the rule of well? Object plus will, be plus verb 3. All tomorrow's flights will be cancelled if the ash cloud is blown over the flight path. With can, the same idea, can be verb 3. In droughts, forest fires can be started very easily. Now, exercise 2. Here you need to decide if this sentence is an active sentence or it's a passive sentence. Please pay attention to the meaning of this sentence. And then decide if it's active or passive. Now with active, you just put the verb as it is. With passive, you need to put is or are, has been or have been مع verb 3, is being or are being, بالpast, بالpresent continuous, will be, or the verb itself, according to the rule that we have just explained. Sentence number 1. The soil on the slopes of volcanoes. The soil, okay? Now, the soil is basically the object of this sentence because someone else, okay, is going to use the soil for agriculture purposes, agriculture for farming purposes, okay? So this soil is used, not used. This soil, تربة, is used for agriculture purposes. Alright? يعني maybe the farmers or the engineers, okay, use the soil. يعني the soil on the slopes of volcanoes is used, okay, for agricultural purposes by farmers or by engineers. Number 2. So this is a passive sentence. Passive. بختار is used. Used, active, is used is passive. 2. Molten lava, okay, range ولا is ranged from 700 to 1200 in temperature. No, this is the subject, okay, so it range بتتراوح. So this is an active sentence. 3. Lava glows red, hot to white, hot as it, and lava here is also the subject of this sentence, as it flows from the volcano. Flow. So this is an active sentence. Mountains form ولا are formed by movements of the earth crust. طبعا هم are formed, okay, وبعدين أعطانا الباي وبعدين الagent، فبالتالي this is a passive sentence. It's very clear لأنه عندك بعدين by والagent or the doer of the action. فبالتالي the movements of earth, okay, form mountains. Last week the children showed ولا were shown pictures of volcanoes by their teacher. By their teacher, okay, indicates that this is a passive sentence. فبالتالي children were shown. They were shown pictures of volcanoes by the teacher. 6. Local people should be warned or warn when there is a high risk of tsunami. Who is going actually to warn them? Of course the government. فبالتالي local people لازم حدا should be warned when there is a high risk of tsunami. Local people هم الobject. فبالتالي this is a passive sentence. Should be warned. 7. During the last flu epidemic, many children and old people were vaccinated or vaccinated against it. طبعا children and old people مش هم اللي they give themselves treatments. Who is going to give them treatments? Of course, doctors. فبالتالي during the last flu epidemics, many children and old people اللي هم الobject في حدا راح يعطيهم التريتمنت. Okay, were vaccinated against the epidemic. Were vaccinated against it by doctors. This is obvious. So this is a passive sentence. لأنهم children and old people في حدا راح يعطيهم التريتمنت. So children and old people were vaccinated against it. 8. Since the floods last Friday, 3 refugee camps مخيمات, okay, have been set up ولا have set up. Of course have been set up لأنه هم أكيد ما راح يعني they are not going to build themselves by themselves اللي هم الcamps, right, أو tents. فبالتالي someone else is going to build or to set up these tents or camps. So refugee camps object, and this is a passive sentence. And that's why we use the structure have been set up. Alright, let's move to exercise 3. In exercise 3, you need to complete the passage with passive verbs. هدول passive verbs are already set up for you in the books, but you need to complete the sentences according to the meaning of the sentence and the time. Sometimes they give us actually keywords in order to decide if you are going to use a past simple in the passive or present perfect in the passive. Okay. هلا in this passage we are going to talk about a place in Jamaica in Africa, and this place actually suffered from landslide. Landslide, you know what is the meaning of landslide? When soil and rocks fall down from mountains and basically they hit the village or the houses and destroy them. طبعا ليش بصير عندنا landslide? Because of the torrential rain, because of the heavy rain. فبالتالي هدول الرocks والsoil fall down from mountains and hit the roofs or the village or the houses. So what do they decide to do? They decided to build dam. Do you know what's the meaning of dam? Dam means a place to collect water. فبدل ما هاي الwater تنزل على الفيلج, they actually put it in a safe place and collect the water in order to use it later. بحبسوها. فبالتالي we have in Jordan actually dams such as King Talal Dam, سد الملك طلال. So it's the same idea. They put water inside the dam in order to not allow, they don't allow the water to go to the village and basically cause landslide. Now, for many years, احنا اتفقنا هي من الكيوردز للpresent perfect. For many years, Somerset in Jamaica, it's an area or it could be a village in Jamaica, has suffered severe landslide. Evidence of this دليل. فبالتالي احنا شو ممكن نعمل مع الدليل؟ can be seen. Evidence of this can be seen throughout the area. Okay, evidence of this can be seen throughout the area. Of course, evidence is an object. في حدا لازم يشوف هذا evidence, right? It could be people, government, the residents themselves who live in this place. So evidence of this can be seen by the government. Some houses, okay, by soil and rock at some time in the past. هلا هون حطوا لي خط تحت past. This is a keyword for simple past. Passive. Alright, so you look for a passive in which it's in simple past. وعندنا houses plural, فبالتالي بنختار where, okay, either completed or covered. Here you need to focus on the meaning. Houses were covered by soil and rock. يعني هذا الhouse is covered. Okay, يتم تغطيته by rocks and soil at some time in the past, leaving only edges of the roof visible. يعني تخيلوا كل الهاوس okay was covered بس بيظهر عندك الروف تبعت الهاوس. So the house or some houses were covered. However, with 4 new check dams, لما نبلش يبنوا هدول الدام okay that have been built. هدول الدams, the right verb to use them is built. Now which one here has built? Of course this one. Have been built on the mountain side. Residents living in hillside areas اللي بيكون فيها hill الهضبات were much more able to cope with recent torrential rain. The dams were built. Were built is a passive also. On the slopes to prevent soil and stone from reaching the town. فبالتالي what is the purpose of building the dam? The dam is to stop or to prevent or stop soil and stone from reaching the town. When the rain fell, there was flooding and a minor landslide. هلا after they built the dam, what happened? صار في عنا flooding بس in a minor landslide in a small. ليه؟ لأنه الwater والsoil والrocks are actually put in the dam. So there was flooding and a minor landslide, but just one house, okay, was slightly damaged. It was damaged, but in a very small and minor way. The dams had worked. All 4 Czech dams were constructed under the management of the Women's Resource and Outreach Center Limited. So also here we have dams were built. Now who built them? The Women's Resource and Outreach Center. Okay, limited, and much of the work لازم يكون عندي singular. Okay, and this is the time, okay, by the residents themselves. 3 of the dams were, yes, I was looking for last year. Last year is a keyword for past passive. فبالتالي الwork, because it's singular, you use a be in which it has to be was. Okay, was carried out by the residents. يعني هذا الwork was carried out, was done by the residents themselves, the people who live in Jamaica. 3 of the dams هنا بدك تحط إشي plural. Okay, were completed last year, and the 4th was finished just a few weeks before the rain came. Okay, هلا in exercise 4 you need to rewrite each sentence beginning with the person or people. هلا هاي السنتنس is already in the passive. بس مين الobject هون؟ الobject is a thing. It's the indirect object. هلا أنت you are going to rewrite this sentence by putting the person as the object in this sentence. Okay? Flowers were given to the wedding guest. هاي passive sentence مش active. Passive. Okay? لأنه flowers were given. هلا who is the object here? Flowers. فبالتالي it's a thing. Flowers, it's a thing. It's the indirect object. Flowers were given to the wedding guests. هلا أنت شو بدك تعمل؟ You need to focus on the person, the guests. Okay? The wedding guests بدي أعملها passive تانية using the person as an object, the indirect object. The wedding guests, okay, were given flowers. The wedding guests were given flowers. Okay, number 3. A letter was sent to all students at the school. A letter was sent to all students at the school. Okay, now هو عمل الباسيف الأولى using the letter. أنت you need to go to this person in this sentence, students. Okay, all students من وين جبت الوير؟ لأنها already was عندي هون. Simple past in the passive voice. All students were sent a letter. All students were sent a letter. هلا 2, 4 and 5 is going to be your homework. Here I'm actually helping you by giving you the object, scientists, customers who return the faulty item. Alright, وhere me. You need to put me اللي بتصير I. Okay, وهنا customers who return the faulty item هم الobject بدك تحطهم بالبداية، و scientists برضو هم الobject to put them at the beginning. And the time here is in the future will be offered. The time here is has been promised. Present perfect. Thank you so much.